After an embarrassing whitewash at home against New Zealand, Team India do not have a lot of time to recover from it as they have to get ready to go down under to Australia for the much awaited Border-Gavaskar Trophy. Hello and welcome to Republic World. In this session, we are joined by none other than former India captain Anjum Chopra, and we are going to discuss about, the debacle of India against New Zealand at home and also what should be India's blueprint going ahead for the BGT. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Anjum, a very good afternoon to you.
Good
So,
afternoon as well. Thank you.
so Anjum, what is concerning is, of course, is Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli's form. I know that the conditions were different in India. It was spin heavy, the New Zealand bowling attack, and in Australia, the conditions would be different. But when a batter is not getting runs, what would be the psyche? I know these are champion batsmen, but what would be the psyche? They would be low on confidence, right? Heading into Australia for such an important series.
Absolutely. They will be low in confidence, whether it is a batter or bowler or anybody. You're even as a fielder, if you drop catches, you will be low in confidence because you missed. And as a fielder, you would know after playing so much of cricket as to where you missed, whether it's a concentration or the skill. As batters also, I think it's not only Rohit, Virat or Jadeja or anyone else that we'll talk about or Sarfraz. We'll all talk about, everyone will be talking about how better can their performance be. And you asked about what they will do. I think for any batter or any sports person, if there is a failure, you go back immediately to the basics. That's exactly what I'm sure most of these batters would do. Go back to the basics, spend time in understanding what
No, the
actually went
problem
wrong
is
rather
they do
than
not
over
have a lot of
analyzing.
time right now.
No, it's not about not having time. When I say basics, means you don't have to go to kindergarten and start learning, speaking about alphabets. Everyone understands what basics means, whether it is from the back left to the defense, to the drive, to your head position, and to the watching of the ball. Uh, and I think as a sports person or as a cricketer especially, there is always time to go back to the basics. It's not that you do advanced knowledge coaching and start immediately practicing that. At all points of time, we as cricketers always practice basics. It's just that you go back and you spend a little bit extra time in understanding. For example, a Shubman Gill, he was playing so beautifully in the first innings. Second innings, he left a ball which is outside off stump. He felt will go straight on to the keeper, but it just slightly came inside. Now, I've seen Shubman Gill get out in a similar manner in domestic cricket and Dilip Trophy in international cricket, and he himself would know that he had covered the line of the ball more than what he would have covered in what I last saw of him getting dismissed in the Lip Trophy. But there was still an error of judgment. So when you say you go back to basics, you still go back to what exactly you want to do, how you want to leave a ball, which is the ball that you can play or you want to play. And as cricketers, I think with the changes of location, the conditions, it is prime most important that you keep touching base with the basics because that is from where we started and that is from where which will always be required to becoming successful.
After three losses and six batting collapses,
Yeah.
question marks are bound to be raised on Rohit Sharma's captaincy. A couple of calls Rohit Sharma took in this series were appalling when he wanted to, win the toss and bat first in Bangalore and also choosing to play a Kuldeep Yadav on a wet, grassy Bangalore strip. Do you think, a change of captaincy is probably required? And if so, who can be India's next test captain, Anjum?
See, if captaincy issues started, resolving the results of the teams, then people will not pick only players. People will also pick prospective captains. That captaincy failure happens. Sadly, captaincy is not a easy thing, and I don't think everyone has it in them to captain. A team for a long, long time. We do make captains, we've made captains, we will make captains, and in the future also we'll have prospective captains. But everyone understands what captaincy is all about and what is required to be a successful leader. Changing Rohit Sharma or bringing in somebody else will not change the fortunes. I was very much vocal just recently before the New Zealand men's team walked over uh, the Indian men's team. The same similar question was posed to me about the women's team as well. So captaincy won't change the results. Let's understand it's a batting failure. It's not a bowling failure. Bowlers have taken wickets. Bowlers have delivered. Um, it has collectively been a batting failure. Now individually when these players will break up their own performances, how they got dismissed, how their shot selection was, which they would have obviously known. That analysis will happen when a collective team failure happened. That analysis will happen, and there's no shying away from the fact that as a team the batting failure happened. So let's correct that. Let's try to resurrect that and come back to successful ways. How we come back to winning ways is still far cry. How we come back to scoring runs individually, which help in the team skitty, I think that's more important right now.
So you think a change of captaincy at this point of time is not needed?
Not at all, because as I say again, it's not about captaincy failure. Decisions are taken on the basis of what you feel is right, and the feeling for a captain of Rohit Sharma's stature and experience is because he knows what kind of skill he has in that dressing room, and on the basis of that skill, he is expecting his players to perform to that optimum level. Now, between an expectation and a deliverance, there is a gap which has become actually a vacuum suddenly, and that has not been able to be bridged. That has not been bridged that very easily. It has actually made everyone fall into that ditch. But that expectation is not wrong of Rohit Sharma from his players. It's because they've delivered the results, and they've all been called up to play for the India 11 on the basis of their domestic performances and international performances. So to say that the player will fail, you don't drop those plans. You draw a plan saying that the players will succeed. But yes, I do agree that after the first test match to the second test match, probably the decision making could have been a little more conservative, or maybe a little more watchful and a little more circumspect, that what if we do not succeed, how do we manage of staying away from failure. I do believe that that time was there to correct themselves, but what went on in the team dressing room or the environment or the conversation, it clearly didn't work. The fourth innings was going to be difficult. It should have been chased down. It didn't happen for India. Now that is exactly where everyone is hurting, because we should have had a 2-1 rather than a 3-0.
You think Rohit Sharma, the results, the captaincy is also affecting Rohit Sharma's batting in a way where he's not being able to score runs the way he used to in the
Yeah.
past and not getting those daddy hundreds. Do you think captaincy, the burden of it is going taking a toll on Rohit Sharma, the batter?
I think batting in itself is probably something that Rohit Sharma would want to work upon. I will just refer to the fact that when T20 was, we were evolving the style of T20 that Indian team was playing, and it's almost about 3 years back or 4 years back. It started from some 2021 when we were playing in the UAE T20 World Cup, and we were still very conservative in our approach, with the batting order looking very similar to a 50-over format. In 22 again, a similar sort of thing happened to us, and from 22 onwards, right up to 2024, the style of batting, the style of approach to batting changed. We lost a few games, we won a few games. So for Rohit Sharma as well as a batter, he's also adapted to so many things now, because he is such a class act. It feels like he's not done anything. But ask any batter, they will always say, to make a small little change, also you have to delve inside. You have to come out of that comfort zone where you've gone into playing a certain style of play, and then to come out and change it. It didn't happen for Rohit Sharma. It didn't happen for Virat Kohli. Those singles which Virat Kohli has taken so very easily did turn out to be. And those small indecisions costed him and the team dearly. So I guess it's not about changing captaincy again. And I'm not saying that just because I have to save Rohit Sharma, I'm nobody to save Rohit Sharma. He himself is a class player and a quality leader. He's just recently won a World Cup for India. It's just about him being able to score runs, and I'm pretty sure the time that whatever time they'll have getting into Australia and then coming back and playing against England, I'm sure they will work things around and come out with much better, improved individual batting performances.
Right, fair enough. From Rohit Sharma, let's move to Ravichandran Ashwin, the veteran who's a proven match winner on in 3 test matches that India played against New Zealand. All he picked up was 6 wickets, and these were on spinning friendly tracks. You think it's high time? Probably Ashwin is losing his mojo, and maybe it's
Yeah.
high time that he throws in the towel.
I guess the fact that, look, again, age is just a number, and the kind of performances Ashwin has given over the years, I do understand that wickets at the end of the column in front of his name are not as visible as it has always been. But, we've always asked a question, Ashwin is so successful in India, what will happen when Ashwin goes outside? Now the question is actually reversed. Again, I say it's been a collective batting failure. It hasn't been a collective bowling failure for India. Whilst Ashwin was unable to pick wickets or maybe have a very massive wicket filled column in front of his name, it wasn't that he was bowling bad. It was just sometimes the ball was going in a vacant area, or the catches were just not able to get grasped. Those very moments were not going his way. But at the end of it all, even if as a bowler of Ashwin's stature, as a batting side, you always want to be watchful against Jadeja and Ashwin. And let's face it, the pressure does get created by one bowler, and the opposite end gets benefited. I'm not saying that anybody else bowling from the opposite end was not doing their bit, but sometimes it can happen. So I don't think it's fair to write off a player, because let's also understand, a team invests a lot of time in building a match winner. And suddenly, if you throw away or try to sideline that match winner, you have also thrown away the time that has been invested in that player. Ashwin has invested so much of time in becoming India's match winner, and so has India. So let's give some more time. I know again it's a difficult situation which is hurting for all Indians, but let's give it more time. Washington Sundar had an exceptional series, which is very good. I'm sure other bowlers are coming around as well, but let's not just throw away our match winners.
See, you speak about the silver linings. Of course, you speak about Washington Sundar, but eventually we were embarrassed. We were whitewashed by New Zealand, and now our chances of making it to the third consecutive WTC final has also dipped. Okay, let's
Yeah.
talk about Gautam Gambhir. He's recently become the coach of the Indian cricket team. Do you think his ploy, his strategy is the way ahead? Should be India's blueprint in the next 2 or 3 years in red ball cricket, where they go,
I
where they
guess,
are ultra aggressive, no
look,
matter
I
what.
think it's a little too early to say this is Gautam Gambhir's strategy, because a that we haven't seen any blueprint. I mean, in black and white, largely, basically, was what I mean to say. Gautam is just continuing from where the Indian team left. Let's say the success of 2024 T20 World Cup, from where I just mentioned, from 22 to 24, how the Indian team came about in getting that success, to where Gautam has just taken that leap forward and taken that same strategy, how Indian team reached the pinnacle of success, to the next level. I don't think this strategy has somehow just landed up with Gautam's thought process that this is where the Indian team will play. No, I think the Indian team delivered results. That's why it's gone ahead with that aggressive strategy. And also, the aggressive strategy does not mean the shot selection can be, you know, uh, just because I felt like playing a shot, I played that shot. Shot selection is about still deciding whether that shot is on or not on. Is it required or not required? That's all batting is all about. Bowlers can get six deliveries to get a batter out. A batter can only make one mistake and he or she loses their wicket. That philosophy hasn't changed irrespective of the eras of sport. So, for me to say that Gautam's strategy is backfired, I think it's a little too early. Now, whether he takes a step back and reassesses the the strategy of the Indian team in terms of how they want to play, I'm sure he will talk about it. He will discuss about it with Ajit Agarkar there, with Virat, Rohit there, and himself. So much of experience, so much of success between these names that we speak about. So they will understand how they need to resurrect this situation. Because in Australia, where the series is on next, simultaneously, in although Gotham is not on the flight to South Africa, is what I'm hearing. So I guess that is also an Indian team which is going to South Africa. The team which is going to Australia is also an Indian team. I'm sure with VVS Lakshman there, the thought process will be shared.
Six batting collapses, right, during the three-match test series. Six batting collapses India had. What do you think was the biggest reason behind it? Short selection, or maybe few, or lack of maybe match practice? Because there were reports which claimed that Ajit Agarkar had requested Rohit Sharma Virat Kohli to play the Duleep Trophy. They had said yes initially, but then they did not play because they felt that it is not very motivating and all of that. So, what do you have to say about this? The senior players not giving a lot of value to domestic cricket.
See, I wouldn't want to comment on the fact that they don't give value. I don't think any cricketer would not value domestic cricket. I guess it was a time where the option was given to them whether you want to go out there and play and, as you said rightly, match practice, or maybe spend some time off because, of course, India will be on the road for the next few months now. So it was a time where individually the players had to decide. They decided against it, and well, it didn't really work out. Now going and playing the Lip Trophy definitely would have helped because it's about match practice. It's also about shot selection. Now, shot selection again comes from a lot of T20 cricket. It's like Yashasvi Jaiswal has so much of power to hit the shots down the ground, but a reverse sweep comes into play, and he's lost his wicket more than once playing a reverse sweep. Now, it's a very predetermined shot. It's a shot that you feel that will always fetch you runs, but is it really required? Now, a lot of players you would have heard saying that I backed myself and I know I can hit that shot. So there is no counter argument to that line when a player says that. The only line is that has it become productive for you or not? Has it become worthy of you taking that shot in your armory and losing a wicket or not? And it's only after the result that the other side will be heard. Till that time, it's only the players' thought process which will be heard and probably progressed with. So shot selection is a major thing. The other factor is about match practice for sure, and also about countering conditions. Because when you say, look, we all say that India is a great team against spin, batting side against spin. I don't think so. And it's not about this series. I think if you just pick up when England came into India nearly about
Absolutely.
3 years back, when Joe Root hit I think almost a double hundred in Chennai, and we were struggling to bat there. This question was faced with us over there as well. Um, so I don't really think that most of our batters face a lot of quality spin. And to be fair, in domestic cricket, just covered domestic cricket, we do have good spinners. But when we talk of quality spin bowlers where it needs to be countered on a turning track, who are the batters who are countering those spinners? And are those tracks the turning tracks in the Lip Trophy or in Ranji Trophy? That we say that Indian cricket is very good. So I think it's something that we consciously work towards having good wickets and good batting tracks to improve our stroke play for our bowlers, to have green tracks to improve the skill level of our seam bowlers versus our batters. And when the quality spin has started affecting us, we are again talking of the same subject. So I guess what we breed in our domestic cricket and how we practice in our domestic cricket is actually the result of how we progress towards our international cricket. So I guess it's also a time to understand that probably not, when that match practice is missing, that shot selection decision making is a little bit awry, and we don't really are great players of spin or the turning ball or being on top of that bounce to defending that ball, then I think everybody just starts to think collectively, or starts to think individually and then collectively.
Right. A little more than a couple of weeks still left for the BGT, the first test match. I feel the playing level is going to be more or less the same, apart from a few changes. Like, for example, Anjum, would you actually pick a KL Rahul over Sarfaraz Khan for that number 5 spot?
I guess that's why KL has been sent to Australia. I think he's just been flown down to join the team for the India A side with the India A side for the second game, because of course India A lost that first game. So that's a nice thing, because if India is looking at more having a solidity in that middle order, not that Sarfaraz cannot bat, but probably the manner in which he got out in both the innings in the third test match, largely Indian team might feel that it's better to have somebody rock solid, uh, you know, trying to play the ball on its merit. And look, KL Rahul, let's face it, he was probably a designated Indian captain in the absence of Rohit or Virat, and right now he's actually looking for a place in an 11. So for him to be flown into Australia ahead of the Border-Gavaskar Trophy probably is an indication that let's give him also a run and let's see how well he's adapting whilst Sarfaraz gets there with the Indian team. And a few net sessions and match simulation sessions, I'm sure will have a better indication for the selectors and the team management to pick whoever they feel like.
What is your bowling lineup looking like? Are you going to go with three seamers and a spinner? How is it looking like?
I guess three seamers is a no-brainer for sure. It'll be interesting to see with Mohammad Siraj and Bumrah. Is Akashdeep getting the nod, or is a Prasidh Krishna getting the nod?
Because
Who is
Prasidh got a
actually
number of wickets. He got a handful of wickets in a game in Australia recently. So that could be a
and
factor.
because Akashdeep was very impressive as well.
Yes.
Castling Latham the way he did in Mumbai. So it'll be interesting, and or maybe have a combination where you're able to play a Washington Sundar as well. So let's face it as it. I guess the conditions when the team management is there, because it's very important to understand whether you play with four bowlers or the fifth bowling option as an
Who
all-rounder
will be
as
your
well, and who
spinner,
will
or
that
you're
be?
playing two spinners?
Yeah, so that combination with, of course, Jadeja as an all-rounder will be there. Do you play an additional spinner in a Washington Sundar, or do you go with an Ashwin? Um, or how is that combination looking like? I guess when the team reaches there, they would probably assess, or maybe they already know because they know what the conditions they'll step against, and looking at the opposition as well.
So if you
That
were in a
decision is a
position to
little.
pick Anjum, who would you pick as your spinner?
Jadeja obviously will get the nod.
And it's
Now,
only
whether you
one
go in.
spinner, a spinning all-rounder.
That's because of the all-rounder abilities. The Jadeja will get the nod. I will not be surprised if Washington Sundar also gets the nod because of his all-rounding abilities.
And also he has the
Uh,
height, so he'll get a little extra bounce also in these Australian tracks. So
I guess the fact, look, he's done well. Bounce, yes, he'll get, but because of his batting abilities, and he's got success in the recent series that he was picked, and he has the success. Remember of the Brisbane Test match. So I guess a lot of factors going into it will probably be considered. Not that Ashwin cannot bat, but there are small areas which the team would be considering and deciding upon their first 11.
So yes, in this session we figured out what went wrong for the Indian side in the recent series against New Zealand and what should be India's blueprint at the BGT. Thank you so much for joining us in this session
Thank
on
you.
Republic Sport Fit, Anjum. Uh,
Thank you so much.
Stay tuned to this channel for all the latest across sports. Thank you so much.